to sow some spinach. Now the spinach variety I've got here is called Trombone. I've not grown this variety before. I have grown spinach before, and it's grown really well. I'm going to sow quite a bit of this because I love spinach, and it freezes incredibly well when you've harvested it. If you can't eat it all, then you can always just freeze a load of it, and then when you're coming to make casseroles or making a curry, then it's great to take some out of the freezer and just put it in your dishes. It's really good. It's one of those vegetables that does freeze incredibly well. Also, the chickens like spinach, so I'm going to have to protect this a great deal from them until I actually want them to eat it. I say the chickens like it. In fact, none of my chickens have ever actually had spinach. They've had all sorts of other greens. So I know the old girls will be absolutely fine, and you give them anything green and they're straight for it. The new girls, however, freaked out the first time I gave them peas. So they're gradually getting a little bit more confident, and when I do give them something new, they kind of look at it and go, okay, well, she wouldn't have given it to us if it wasn't, if we wouldn't have liked it. So they're eating things like that now. So I'm going to grow quite a bit of spinach this year, so let me show you how to sow spinach. Now here's my little seed tray. I'm going to sow seed in both these sections. Now spinach can be sown from January to April, and then again it can be sown between August and September. Each variety of spinach will vary, so just check your package when you buy it and it'll tell you. But the variety I've got here, that's the time that I can sow it. Now, as I say, I have put some multi-purpose compost in the bottom of this seed tray. I've now watered it, and I've allowed the water to soak right through. Make sure that the water soaks right through before you sow it. Now these are the spinach seeds here. They're quite large, so they're very easy to see. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take a pinch between my finger and my thumb, and I'm just going to move them backwards and forwards to just gently scatter the seeds on the damp soil. Because the compost is damp, the seeds will stick to it and they will start to germinate straight away. You won't see them germinating, but because they're touching the damp, they could start to pop through the soil about a day or maybe even 2 days before. I'm just going to finish these last few up. I've still got some more in my packet, but I'll see how these get on, and then I can sow some more maybe in about 6 weeks' time. So once you've sown your seeds, if there are some that are a little bit close to each other, touching each other, move them just a little way apart from each other, because it will then make it easier when you're pricking them out. If you've got lots of them touching each other, then if one of them's not quite ready, you don't want to disturb the roots too much whilst you're pricking out the other one. So there they are, and all I'm going to do now is I'm just going to put a little bit more multi-purpose compost over the top of them. There's about ½ centimetre of compost that I've put over the top of them, and that will be absolutely fine for them. Make sure that you just gently push it over them, scatter it over them. Don't push this compost down, because otherwise the little shoots will find it very difficult to push their way through it. So that's my spinach seeds. All I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a label in the tray, and then I will put the tray in the greenhouse, not in the compost bin, in the greenhouse, and if the nights are going to be cold, then I will cover it with a propagator lid. So there is my spinach all ready. I'll check these every day just to make sure that the compost isn't dry. If the compost is dry, then I'll give it a water. Make sure you water it very, very carefully. The compost on the top does look dry at the moment, but that's just because it was dry when I put it on. The compost on the bottom is wet, so if I put this in the greenhouse, the water will soak up and the top of the compost will then be damp, which is great. Make sure that you don't over water your seedlings and your germinating seeds, because if they get too wet and they sit in too much damp soil for too long, then they will rot. So I most probably won't have to water these for a couple of days. It just depends on the weather, but make sure that you check them every single day, and then if you need to water them, then do. Well, I hope you found that useful, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye-bye.